Warning. This is a satirical analysis of NEKO-NIN exHeart intended for mature audiences and people who can differentiate between reality and fantasy. If you are not one of those people, stop watching now. Enjoy. Okay, so, whoops. Now, apparently I used my ninja jutsu to go back in time, and I retroactively made this part 3 of the analysis before I made part 2. So I'd suggest watching this part before watching part 2. We in the business like to call this a standard by-the-books whoopsie-doodle. And with the introductions out of the way, I'm Axel the Weeb, and this is part 3 of my NEKO-NIN exHeart analysis. The Nachi DLC starts off with Yura and Tama being as anime as possible when describing the events of Volume 1. And just like any harem anime worth its salt, it starts off with a slice-of-life scene showing us Haruki and friends having breakfast. We get to see the first inklings of Yura's strained relationship with Nachi. Eventually, Nachi says that Haruki needs to stop spoiling the Nekos and teach them the skills that they need to know. And I myself am enjoying how NEKO-NIN likes to become self-aware right off the bat. Haruki then asks Nachi why she has been coming by about 6 times a week, and this causes her to start baba-baka-ing everywhere, before he exposits about how he himself is serving someone confidential, foreshadowing the events of Volume 2. Next, Haruki meets Saya in the park so he can receive his monthly payment, and it's only 500 yen. Later on, Saya explains to Nachi the reason why she's being so hard on Haruki is so that she can get a better read on his personality. Later that night, Nachi breaks into Haruki's house so that she can basically just molest him in his sleep. The next morning, Haruki asks the Nekos if anyone snuck into his room last night, and the Nekos proclaim their innocence, followed by some more slice-of-lifing before Haruki is working out in the park. Nachi sees what Haruki is doing, and this leads to a very funny H-scene bait-and-switch, because it turns out that Nachi has the exact same weakness as Goku. Just pull on her tail and it incapacitates her. Yura eventually shows up to break the tension in the scene, and in the fight between Yura and Nachi, we actually have a fucking JoJo reference. Like, Nekopara did it first, and now NEKO-NIN has done it too. Later that day, Saya starts to grill Nachi about being late because of her H-scene bait-and-switch. Saya talks about Nachi going into heat, but she doesn't care as long as Nachi is still a soldier that will follow orders. The next morning, Haruki is walking around with Tama in cat form so that she can exposit about Yura and Nachi's relationship, before he goes back to the park to work out some more. When he gets there, Nachi says that she has to go back on her promise and won't help Haruki anymore because that would mean that she is serving 2 masters, and the ninja just can't do that. Back at the hospital, Nachi tells the others that she cut ties with Haruki and friends, and immediately after there is an intruder alert. Saya captured the intruder, and it turns out that it's just Haruki. Haruki then beats around the bush for about 10 minutes before coming out and saying that he would really like it if she would get back together with her sisters again. Then Haruki asks Nachi if she could walk him home so the plot can move to a different setting. Once they are alone, Haruki starts to ask Nachi about her relationship with Saya. Essentially what happened is that Nachi ran away from her village, she got really hungry, she stole a pizza, and then she tried to kill herself before Saya showed up to give her a new purpose in life. The next morning has Nachi sneaking her way into Haruki's house so she can demonstrate just how careless they've all gotten. Really all that happens next is a bunch of slice-of-lifing until the Nachi H-scene can happen, and even after the H-scene, really nothing happens until the credits roll. Now, even though I personally think that the 18+ content for this DLC is a little lacking, I do really like the design of Nachi. First off, it's refreshing to see a design that doesn't have an insane amount of line mileage, and because there aren't a million things going on all at once, we can actually appreciate Nachi for herself. Next, we have a line of action that starts above her eyes near the hairpin, and it effortlessly draws your eyes down the rest of her design. Then, there's a nice alternating contrast of blue and red, and this is kind of a less is more scenario with the decorations. And the last thing that I really like about her design is this bit right here. To me, the red, black, and white is a good way to show the relationship between Nachi and Saya with a matching of colors. Alright guys, I'm Axel the Weeb, and make sure to put your waifus and husbandos down in the comments, and make sure to tune in next time for NEKO-NIN exHeart Volume 2. See ya.